Hi team, Tiffany Albright here, your district manager with Avon. Coming out to you today to kind of talk about how to make every minute that you use in your business effective. Now, the reason why I decided to speak on this topic was had a conversation, I continue to have conversations, and a representative will come to me and say, Tiffany, I'm not making enough money in my business and I'm putting in a ton of hours. Okay, so this is where I thought it would be very, very helpful if I kind of broke that down and figured out the best way to really capitalize on every minute that you're utilizing in your business and how to make money. We all want to make money, right? That's the bottom line, and that's why we're all here. So what I did was about 6 years ago when I became a district manager, or when I became a representative, with Avon, I had to figure out the best way to use my time effectively. And the reason why is I had a brand new baby, and I also had a 5-year-old little girl. And with them, of course, you all know, my schedule got a little busy and my husband worked full time. So every time that he was off work, I really had to make sure that I was doing the most in that time frame, especially without my little ones with me. Now, I know that we all don't have that luxury to have somebody to help out, but I did, and it was very, very limited in time. So what I did was I sat down and I made a time card. Now, a time card doesn't have to be anything fancy, and many of you are probably asking, what's a time card? Now, a time card, back in the good old days, I remember having to go to work and you clock in, you punch your ticket and you punch it out. Any of you remember that? Okay, just checking. So when we did that, it kind of showed that we were at work, and that's how we calculated how much money that we were going to get paid for that time period. Now, what I mean by you creating a time card is sit down with maybe a 3x5 card, index card, and write down maybe a Monday through Sunday schedule. It doesn't have to be a weekly thing. Maybe you want it to be weekly. I know that mine became pretty consistent because I wanted to see what money I was bringing in, what activities I was doing, and how I could be more effective with those activities so that I could make more money, because ultimately that's what I wanted to do as well. So what I did is maybe on Monday, I knew that I had from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock to go out and run my business by myself, 100% run my business. So I tried to figure out the best use of that time. Now, one of the things that I realized was I said I was going out and working my business from 9 to 11. But in all actuality, I was going to Walmart and I would kind of get sidetracked here and there, looking at cute clothes or maybe a toy or a sale that they had, or, going through produce or whatever it may have been. And I realized very fast that during that time frame, I really needed to, yes, fit it into my everyday life, but that was my work time. And that's where I really need to make sure that I was capitalizing on every second through those 2 hours. So what I did was I made a little goal. And I know many of you have seen the 100 No's, and that's a 100 No's goal challenge. And what it is basically how you can get 100 no's, and each no can eventually, after you get 10, you can get a yes. And that's a fun way to do it, but I had something in my mind that worked for me, and that was trying to get at least 10 names and numbers through those 2 hours. Now, in order to do that, I had to talk to a lot more than 10 probably, or at least double that. So I would go out and I would talk to anybody I could come in contact with. And when I mean talk to people, I really tried to use the most of my time. Yes, there were going to be different days that I was going to contact them and get their contact information and call them and actually have a full conversation in detail about either a product or about the earning opportunity with Avon. However, in that day, I knew that I had to get 10 names and numbers. Now, when I went up and talked to somebody, and that'll be a whole different training video, it was about how to create that instant relationship and make sure that I walked away with their name and number, right? So with that, I would then translate that down into 2 hours on my time card, and so on and so forth throughout the week. Now, if I was on Facebook, I made sure that I also wrote down, hey, I advertised my business on Facebook, but it was for a 15-minute period. So when I hear people tell me I spent hours and hours on my business last week and I really didn't get paid out of it, okay, how many hours did you actually spend? It's about really sitting down and tracking those hours and figuring out you know what, I wasn't really on Facebook that long working Avon. I posted in a couple groups. It took me maybe 10 minutes. Okay, that's really where it comes back to how much money you're making in those 10 minutes. Is it effective? Do you need to post in different groups? Do you need to maybe create an Instagram account instead of using a Twitter or a Facebook? Whatever is going to be effective to you, you're going to go through those times where maybe something doesn't work. That's where you try something else. Now, through those 2 weeks, I would really figure out how many hours I worked. So maybe I worked 2.5 hours a week, and that's really what it came down to. I know that's about average for most Avon representatives that are just starting their business. Now, if you want to put more time in, that's fantastic, but some of us don't have that time. So 2.5 hours a week, that's a total of 5 hours for a 2-week period, which in a campaign, 2-week period, right? I would figure out how much money I made that campaign. Well, you know what? I made $50 that campaign. So what does that equal out to? That's $10 an hour. Not bad. It's more than minimum wage. So when we think about how to break that down, maybe next campaign, you will need to make $100 because your light bill is due. What can you do to make that $100? Do you need to maybe devote 10 hours into your business in the next 2 weeks? Or do you need to sit down and look at your time card and figure out how to make that time use more effective? And really show yourself how you can capitalize on every minute of every day with your business. If you're not working your business 7 days a week, you know what, that's fine. Figure out where you can make it up through those other 3 days that you're actually working your business. Maybe you work full time. Maybe you don't have time to devote 100% to your business, and that's completely fine. What you put in, you're gonna get out. However, if you make a lot of use of your time and make it really effective, you're gonna get that much more out. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it really helped. I challenge each and every one of you to come up with your time card. Comment. Let me know how it's going. I want to hear from you. Sit down with either your leader or your district manager, and maybe they can help as well, and implement different ideas that can really help you utilize each and every minute of your day to make it best for you. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a happy selling season for fourth quarter. Look forward to hearing from all of you and hearing your comments and how this video is effective for you.